Hello, my name is Jason Holland. I'm a grateful member of the Beit Teshuva community. I'm extremely honored to have the opportunity to speak with you tonight. And I don't mean to exaggerate by saying that I believe that it's a miracle that I'm here with you. When I was 14 years old, growing up in Agora Hills, California, I was a relatively normal kid. I usually did my homework, I surfed, played sports. By 15, I had begun experimenting with drugs and alcohol. Before long, my experimentation turned into numbing and escape from social and academic pressures. My substance abuse has always overlapped with criminality. And by 17, I was fully immersed in a criminal and drug lifestyle. At 18, I went with my younger brother and friends to rob an acquaintance out of some weed that we thought he had. And during the confrontation, we broke into a fight that escalated into a tragedy wherein I was directly responsible for one of the boys losing his life. By 19, I was sentenced to life without parole, and my younger brother and two friends received life sentences beside me. And life without parole is exactly what it sounds like. The intention is for you to die behind bars. And I don't have the words to condense the next 28 years down to properly convey the depth of what that experience was and continues to be for me. I lived a full life in there, and for so many years, I thought that prison was the extent of what life was going to be for me. And prison was rocky. My path wasn't always one of recovery. Yet ultimately, the remorse I felt for the life that I had lived up until my rock bottom moment compelled me to confront the idea of making radical changes. And originally, that meant walking away from an identity and a persona that I had created in prison, and from all the anchors that tie a person to that kind of life, or to any life. And for me, it also meant potentially walking away from the people and things that I may have felt close to or drawn to, but who, in the end, represented harm to my recovery. And while I felt the fear of surrendering the familiar for the unknown, I knew that I had to make a change. So while still behind bars, I took the first step towards building a new life. And then I took the second, and so on. Many steps. And as I continued to make the right decisions, opportunities began to come my way. One of them was a chance to come to Beit Teshuva. And over the course of 4 years, I corresponded with the Alternative Sentencing Department. And Carrie Newman was one of the people who wrote a letter to the parole board on my behalf. Now, if you know anything about Beit Teshuva, you know they provide housing, they provide food, counseling, spiritual enrichment. I could go on and on. They did all of that for me. But what's also crucial for me is that they provided a necessary framework and a safety net in a time when I was especially vulnerable, coming back into a world that I no longer knew. And then from there, they supported me in the dreams that I thought would only live in my mind, dreams that I used to nurse while I was in prison, from small things like going surfing again like I did when I was 14, to encouraging me to have the career that I have now, which is working with at-risk youth. I lived a full life in prison, and Beit Teshuva is helping me to have a full life out here. Today, I humbly stand before you with 5 years of sobriety, and with a heart full of gratitude. It's strange how things line up. We can't always see the impact that we will have in other people's lives. Lynn Shapiro, Paul Bergman, and so many others have been giving to the Beit Teshuva community for a long time, without ever knowing that they were helping to create a place for me. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Paul. Thank you to all the donors. And thank you to Beit Teshuvah for being a part of my miracle.